I just want to ask, and I apologize if I missed this, long debate though, you had stated that there was nothing that would increase the penalties for sexual harassment in this bill, other than we've now expanded it to small employers.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything in the bill that increases the penalties for anybody that enables sexual harassment in any way?
Again, this does not address anything, does not deal with increasing or decreasing penalties.
Do you think it should, this bill?
No.
Really? Okay.
No. The purpose of this bill, again, these policies are here to break down the barriers so women can participate fully and equally in this society.
But sexual harassment is a major problem.
And that portion of the bill is now expanding and protecting all women in all job settings.
Right, but you would agree, I think, that sexual harassment is a major problem in this state.
I would not say it is a major problem in this state as a woman, no.
But when it occurs...
But it's a major problem that we are addressing in this bill.
Why? How? By expanding it to small employers with no increased penalties? That's addressing it?
Yes, we are expanding the protections, yes.
No, we're not expanding the protections at all. We're just expanding the number of people covered.
Yes, currently, if you are a female working in a small business, you cannot pursue sexual harassment. And with the passage of this bill, we are expanding to all job settings.
Sure. Okay, so you're expanding it to all job settings, yet the penalties are not increased in any way for those women. Or for the women working in big institutions like state government, let's say.
I mean, the penalties, again, that is not being addressed here. That is something that is always litigated in the courts. It's
but part of
apples and oranges.
Well, not really, but part of this bill has treble damages, right? Regarding housing discrimination, treble damages.
Repeat that question, please.
Part of this bill has treble damages in it, I think, as it relates to housing discrimination, correct?
Yes.
We're increasing the penalties for housing discrimination, correct?
Correct.
Yet we are ignoring and not increasing the penalties for sexual harassment, correct?
No, we are not.
No treble damages?
But we are expanding it.
You've said that. Yes, I understand we're expanding it to small employers. But yet we will expand the damages for housing discrimination, but ignore them for sexual harassment. That's what we're saying in this bill.
Say it again.
I said we will expand the penalties to treble damages if there's housing discrimination that takes place, yet there are no increased penalties for sexual harassment. That is what you're saying. And you don't think that there should be, as you say. Correct?
I mean, that would not be something that I would not support. I mean, that's probably a bill that you can put forth if you are interested.
Well, I thought we had a fairly comprehensive one here. It's 10 points. I thought it covered all the bases, but apparently we left this one. It is interesting. Part B is an exceptionally thin section in this bill.
But it's very significant.
Not very. We expanded it to small employees, but leave the women continuing to be harassed, apparently, without any increased ability to get their just due. Let me ask you one other question. So there's nothing in here that increases penalties for sexual harassment. There's nothing in here for those who enable sexual harassment. Is there anything in the bill that increases penalties for those who pay money to a victim to cover up sexual harassment, which then enables more sexual harassment? Is that addressed in Part B?
Currently, Mr. McLaughlin, there are no penalties for women who are seeking sexual harassment protections in smaller job settings. We are expanding it to encompass all these women that are out there in the state of New York that do not have these protections.
Thank you. I'm well aware that we are expanding it to smaller employees. Also
And
well
that's
aware.
what's written in this bill.
I read it. I'm also well aware we're not increasing the damages. Let me ask you this.
So I would have to say that you're asking the same question
Oh, no, I'm
over and over
expanding a little.
again.
I just wanted to see about the covering up sexual harassment, enabling it, paying off victims to keep them quiet. I just wanted to flesh that out a little bit and just see if this body addressed that in any way with this legislation. That's all I was getting at. Let me ask you a question. If the Senate does pass 9 separate bills, as we expect them to do, would you...
Expect who?
The Senate. We expect the Senate to pass all 9 bills and leave the 10th out. Would you fight for and demand that this assembly stay in session so that we can pass the 9 that the Senate passed?
I guess that would be a discussion when it happens.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I think we'll find that out in about 24 hours. Thank you, Ms. Titus. Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
On the bill, Mr. McLaughlin.
Supposedly a comprehensive bill that's going to deal with women's equality, much of which is already law. But I would think that it would pass overwhelmingly if all 9 points were there. And for those that say, well, you voted against certain things in the past, the language is different. This would pass, I think, overwhelmingly. I know I would support all 9 of those. I cannot support the 10th plank, as I think many in this chamber cannot. This is a missed opportunity. I don't know why we would not seek comprehensive, far-reaching penalties for sexual harassment, for women that are young women that are abused, or really a woman of any age, of course. And I would think that all of us, whether it was our mother, our sister, our daughter, our wives, if they were harassed at work, we would want that harasser penalized. We would also want the person who enabled it and covered up to be penalized as well. This is sending a message to the state of New York to do as I say, not as I do. This is a missed opportunity by this chamber.